Have you ever wondered if you can make a bustier top look like a corset top? Now this video is a sewing part of the former video I shared earlier. Now if you are interested, please share, like and subscribe to my channel so that other people can also watch and learn from this video. So these are the materials that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using an air stay. Now this is the lining and this is the main fabric, which is the Ankara fabric. So the next thing that we're going to do is to place our pattern on our Ankara fabric. The Ankara fabric is the first one that we're going to be cutting, and we're going to be adding our sewing allowance. Now if you're adding your sewing allowance, I always say it in my videos, for the inner part of the bodice, you're going to be adding 1/2 inch, and on the lower parts you're supposed to be adding also 1/2 inch. Now for the center back, as you can see, I added 1.5 inch. Now the 1.5 inch, the 1 inch is for the zip allowance, while the 1/2 inch is the sewing allowance. That's how it's supposed to be. So now when you are adding your sewing allowance, the inner part, as you can see, for the front part of my bodice, my bustier top, I was adding 1 inch, while on the outer part, which is the side, I was adding 1/2 inch for the inner part, which is the center, front and the bust area, and 1 inch for the side, which is how it's supposed to be. Now you can decide to also add more if you want to add more allowance to the side, but you are not, it is not allowed to add more to the center, front or the bust area. As you all know that the front part of the bodice is an asymmetric part of the bodice. That is the reason why I'm cutting them separately. If you check my former video, if you have not watched my former video, I'm going to put it in a link around here to make sure to allow you to be able to understand what I'm talking about. So now this is the front part, the center front part. I'm going to be adding 1/2 inch all round the sewing allowance, the sewing allowance, both the upper part and the lower part, with both sides. And please don't forget to label your Ankara fabric, because we have already labeled our pattern, so it is necessary to transfer your labels on the Ankara fabric. Now we're going to move to the upper part of the bodice, of our bustier bodice. Now for this, we are going to be using a chantilly net. Now when you are using your chantilly net, you're also going to be using 1/2 inch all round. Whatever you used for the lower part is what you're going to use for the upper part. Now the upper part for the back, we are going to be adding our zip allowance, just like we added for the Ankara. That is the only place where we are going to be adding our 1 inch or 1.5 inch. Whatever you added for the Ankara is what you're going to add. So here I added 1.5 inch because I added 1.5 inch for the Ankara fabric. Now we are going to do the same for the sleeve. Now for the sleeve, because the sleeve is the chantilly net I'm using is a stretchy fabric, I added only 1/2 inch, but the normal allowance to add the normal sewing allowance to add is 1 inch. Now we're going to move to the lining. We also cut our lining fabric too. Then after that, we are going to take our Ankara fabric to the ironing table to add our interfacing, which is air stay, as you can see. So after doing that, I'm going to proceed to sewing. Now before sewing, I like to arrange my bodice to be able to understand what I'm sewing and to be able to avoid unnecessary mistakes. So I'm going to go ahead and arrange the next fabric I want to sew. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to join all my Ankara fabric together, and I've added my cup. Now after adding our cup, the next thing to do is to add our chantilly net. So here is the right time. This is the right time to add our chantilly net for both the front and for the back. So I'm going to go ahead and arrange them properly in order to avoid mistakes, so I don't place the wrong sides on the Ankara. So I'm going to arrange it as you can see. So after arranging, I went ahead to sew it on my sewing machine. Then I'll go ahead and sew it and neatly place my lining. I'm going to neatly place my lining on the seam, on the yoke seam. This seam is called a yoke. So I'm going to go ahead and place my lining on my yoke seam. I'll place them carefully and arrange them carefully. Now it is good to use your pin while sewing. It is very important to use your pins to hold them down so that you don't sew the wrong places or over sew. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to join join my lining and also sew the hem. Now there's what we call hemming gum. Now this hemming gum I'm going to be adding it to the hem area to make the hem area neat. So I'm going to go ahead and add it around the hem. Then I'll take it to my ironing table and iron it. So after ironing, the next thing I'm going to do is to sew my zip. I'm going to be adding my zip. So now after sewing our zip, I'm going to go ahead to join the sleeve and finish it. So here it is. Can you see how beautiful this is? So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, like and share to your friends so that they can also learn from this video. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.